Well, welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. After a very interesting turn of events, we've come to this match here now. Virtus Pro versus Cloud9. It's 0-2 versus 2-0. And the team that you thought would be one that's 2-0, well, it's not them. Cloud9 are the team at the moment that has the superior record, and Virtus Pro, if they lose this match, well, they'll be at risk of possible elimination, unless there's a serious, mix-up and the whole group just turns to mush really quickly, based on the events we saw yesterday. But Cloud9 are off to a good start, and they're going to have a big challenge in front of them. It's going to be Virtus Pro, who have not been off to the best start today. Isn't that right, Metas?
Well, absolutely, yeah. And I mean, the mad thing is, well, if Cloud9 were to win this game, which isn't out of the realms of possibility, Automatic in particular has got crazy stats this event. VP on home soil would then be playing later on against SK, who also need a win. They could feasibly go 0-4 on home soil, on an event that you'd even fancy them to maybe even take. Maybe get to the finals, semi-finals at the very least. I don't even know what to say about that. It's unbelievable.
It's absolutely insane. So, taking a full look at this group as well. Well, we just concluded the knife round there, obviously, but we're just waiting for the players to ready up. Currently, the group stands as follows. Cloud9 is leading with also the best round percentage, or just the total rounds won as well, as they're up positive 16 currently. Na'Vi sits behind them, also 2-0, and they're up positive 11. Heroic is next in line along with North. Both of them are 1-1. And then at the bottom of the group are two of the strongest teams, well, at least coming into it, two of the strongest teams we thought would be leading the pack of this tournament. Both Virtus Pro and SK are down 0-2. Now, we already had our Group A played out in case you didn't tune in yesterday. And again, just as a reminder, FaZe, Astralis, and Immortals ended up with a three-way tie at the end of the day. All three of them ended up 4-1. And through our tiebreaker procedure, it was FaZe that took first place. So they got to go straight through to the semis. But Group B is what's being fought for today. And it seems as though the teams are getting readied up here in a moment, so we should be able to jump into this match, and this is a big one indeed, as this could determine quite a bit. This could propel Cloud9 into a position to possibly take first, depending on some of their bigger matches like the one against Na'Vi, and for VP, it could eliminate them as well if they don't win it.
Just not the situation we ever anticipated ourselves to be in. After yesterday was fairly clear-cut. I mean, FaZe going through, it's 4-1 with Astralis. I think some people may have pegged that down, but it kind of went the way you'd expect. Maybe Fnatic getting knocked out and Nip getting knocked out wouldn't have been a surprise to some. But this group has been a complete wreckage. It's a hot mess. And here we go. VP going to try and get their first point in the group, which could propel them back to safety. I mean, we know what these guys are capable of doing. We know that they can come from huge deficits and still bring it back and even win events. I'm not going to write them off, but Cloud9 have been looking great. Not too much utility, though. Only a smoke for Skadoodle. VP going with full-on Glocks and a Deagle in the hands of Pasha.
It is still just going to be, again, here, though, for VP. Most of their players spread out, looking for the crunch onto the A-bomb site, and it could prove out to actually work pretty well as they move in. A one-for-one trade to start things off. Nothing in Taz. Trading blows, nothing sitting himself back, but Stewie actually and Skadoodle both get knocked back out. Cloud9 are trying to hold themselves back by CT, but it's a bit hesitant at that. In the meantime, Pasha looking around, looking for a player over there inside of the sniper nest. Not going to work out. Shroud is left as the last man standing, though, at the end of everything, but Pasha's going to take him down. It'll be VP that control the pistol.
Yeah, Pasha putting that Deagle to use. Snacks with 2. Good start for the Poles. Again, desperately want to get through to the arena stage, and I'm sure the Polish fans do want exactly the same thing. Cloud9, in the meanwhile, come through with Deagles. Skadoodle may be skipping out so we can get that up a bit sooner. $1,500 left for him. For the rest of the team with Deeks. It is going to be more of an A-centric stack with Automatic now going back to the B side to join Shroud. Mid-control being taken. Smoke's going to be landing over on the jungle so that Virtus Pro can start to take some kind of aggression through mid. They do have the bomb there. The only player that isn't with them is Taz, but he can easily wrap himself through underpass if he so chooses. He's currently in B-Apps.
So that's that early mid-control for free on VP's side of things here, but nothing. Swinging back out, takes him a few shots, but he does pick up the kill against Neo. Very quickly, though, he'll be traded out by Bialy. And beyond this, we haven't seen anything else transpire just yet. But VP are getting prepared to push into Cat, and that's actually going to be the Hornets' nest in terms of Cloud9's positioning. We take a look, Automatic, Shroud, and Skadoodle all posted up here. Although Skadoodle is going to move outside of market. as he does want to check a little bit closer towards mid. Shroud spots the play. Stewie, in the meantime, gets a kill over towards the connector here. Shroud's hunting, but Automatic picking up one there against Taz as well. They've been brought down to 2 all of a sudden, and they're changing up the hit over here towards A. Stewie is still here, still ready for it, and he's playing it passively. He won't directly contest their push in from the connector, just hides back on Tetris and looking for a couple deagle shots. Would have heard that drop over there in his sandwich, but nothing for him, unfortunately. There's Automatic catching one of the trades. More moving back in. Pasha down at 15 HP. He'll be finished off by Skadoodle, and Cloud9 upset, taking us 1-1.
The upsets just continue. They just keep coming at you. VP in a position where they may even force, considering that they didn't get the bomb planted and a few players on like $1,400, $1,500. So yeah, will be a force. Cloud9 in prime position once again. This is what we saw in Cobblestone. They did the exact same thing to Heroic. Just broke their economy right off the bat. And we're constantly just edging ahead as time went on. I think that ended 16-7, somewhere around that mark. So it was a very one-sided affair on Cobblestone, and they didn't lose a single round their CT side, which is very surprising. So far, so good for the NA team.
Yeah, once Cloud9 got the ball rolling, it was, especially in their second half on CT side, it was very hard to put a stop to it. The VP, though, they're going to try to force their way in against Shroud. He waits in the corner, only going to be able to tag up one, but Automatic also sits at range. However, he wasn't expecting pressure to work its way out from the apartments either, so there's a surrounding push coming out from VP over onto this site. Bomb will go onto the ground, but Skadoodle trades one more out before they can get over onto the site. We're locked into a 3v3. VP, Taz specifically, sitting very, very low. But everyone from Cloud9 at the moment is pushing back in from Market. They don't have a lot of angles with which to retake this. Thankfully, they've got some smokes, so they can block up a couple of these angles if they should so choose. Neo, waiting on the outside here. He's got one, looking for a second. He gets half the damage off of him. But as the trades continue, we're brought down to a 1v1. Snacks, though, clutches out against Stewie. And VP trade it right back as he picks up a big 3K. They retake the lead up 2-1.
Well, absolutely. They return the favor of just shattering the economy of Cloud9. They did have enough to buy an AWP, and they are going to go for the force here with Stewie 2K on the AWP at the moment. As he'll be looking to go towards the mid side, UMP and pistols. And of course, these kind of confrontation, this economic game of chicken, should most of the time favor the CT. Stewie gets a trade. That's not good enough, though, for him to get one kill, then drop with the AWP now in window. One of the main powers that they have here in round 4. And VP decide, okay, screw this, let's just head back towards the A side. We already have Bialy, who's positioned in Palace. And the aggression is forthcoming by both Nothing and Skadoodle as they try and take some ramp control.
VP, though, are taking it very slowly as they do kind of lurk up over here towards those steps. Nothing not peeking directly into it anymore, and they're looking for Skadoodle around the corner, but they look away at just the wrong moment. He's going to get one, but unfortunately the spray doesn't work out for him on the secondary one. And now Pasha pushes forward to pick up that second kill into Nothing. Automatic, armed with the op, though, prepared for a trade, takes down Bialy. We're back down into another 2 versus 2, and VP are split back up here. We can see that Taz is going to be working his way out from underpass, and he knows that Automatic is somewhere near the window here. Jumping up, he spotted him. He dinked Automatic too, but it was through the wall. So it only brings him down to 40 HP, and now Automatic is stuck, and he jumps right into Automatic's crosshair. Goodbye, Taz. It's up to Pasha now in a 1v2 as he just rushes over here towards B.
Surprised me someone that Taz would go for that jump shot, knowing how incredibly unpredictable it can be. But Pasha is going to get the bomb down, smuggles it onto the site. We'll be smoking off the push from Market. Automatic is going to be joined by Shroud. And Pasha planting the bomb for himself now going to be going on to short. Now keep in mind that he has Molotov. And Cloud9 don't have a smoke anymore. So that could be what ends up being a determining factor in this one. Is he going to get a chance to throw it in the first place, though? Because he's only on 24 health. If he comes around that corner and the AWP is primed in position, he probably will die instantly. But he is going to get away with it. Shroud is going to hold on to that defuse. He's going to go down to Pasha. And an Automatic is not going to have enough time. Pasha's pulled it off. A huge clutch. And just to add salt to the wounds, he's going to pick up the final frag and save the M4. A 4K for the biceps.
The big 4K for him indeed, and now it's VP in control of the early match here. Due to that one, the Cloud9 will be broken. They have to eco right around the 2K mark, so expecting a full save here now. And that means that VP can easily propel themselves up to 4-1 off of this. Not really going to be expecting an upset. Maybe a couple trade kills into cheeky positionings, but that should be about it. So VP really have nothing to fear this time.
Yeah, Cloud9, I mean, this is as bare as you could really ask for. P250s, they had a flash which has just been thrown out. Nothing's been caught on the cross. Neo is point blank range and will dispatch of Skadoodle. And another one as well. He is racking up the funds. Shroud has been spotted on Catwalk. Neo is going to go look for him. Well, actually, did he get spotted? I assumed he had. Shroud misses his chance with the P250. Pasha moves to 8 and 2. VP move 4 and 1.
With that control, though, Cloud9 will be buying into this next round after full saving previously. Buy is going to be a little bit restricted, specifically for Nothing when we take a look at it here. They do have enough utility and whatnot, but Nothing is just going to have to go down to a UMP, as there is no excess cash to be able to drop a gun for him, and he doesn't really seem to favor the FAMAS in this current scenario. So he'll have all the HE grenades and Molotovs. Everybody else is just going to have a basic smoke and flashbang stack to work with, and it's very spread out from Cloud9 here, too. All across the map they have players. They're not going to be able to put a presence inside of the window room there without an op. But beyond this, they just keep everybody spread out across the map here. And it's, I mean, even on the T side, we have the same thing too. Bialy and Neo pushed over here into the apartments. Right now, it's 2-1-2 across the map. But they have 3 more about to try and set up a crunch on A. The bomb's actually going to fall back towards T-spawn, I think, and group up with those guys outside of the T ramp. So more likely going to lead into this site. And the first of the action maybe happening here in a second as Pasha sneaks up. But Stewie holds for 2 kills. Both trying to push out of the palace. Pasha's going to surprise and catch 1 trade against Nothing. But that's only a single angle they've opened up. And now the cavalry's going to be rotating over here at any moment. Automatic. Already picking up another kill against Pasha, and the guys from VP are down to 2.
Yeah, I've got a feel for Neo here. They'd already committed to pushing on the A quickly. Then when they lose 2 players on that initial charge, pretty much going to put it dead and buried. If they get a bomb plant, it would be a nice little bonus, and indeed they will. Nearly got stopped. And Bialy's heroics only enough to silence 1 more CT. So Cloud9 will bring it back to a 2-round deficit. They do lose 2 players in the process, and VP will have a solid buy going into the next round. But very well played around Connector. That's ultimately what got Cloud9 the rounds after taking 2 players down that vicinity.
Game remains close, as VP mentioned previously. They do have the cash flow here still, so they're back onto the buy themselves. 3 straight rounds, and one of them was a clean sweep, so they did build up a little bit of a bonus off of that one. The op coming in for Snacks. We're still not seeing it on the Cloud9 side just yet, as they're just beginning to build themselves up. But this is a big push on mid coming out from VP. Smokes and whatnot controlling this one too. I think Skadoodle is in the window this time, yeah. But with a lot of those smokes in the way, and especially with the amount of players out here, it's going to be tough to directly challenge it, but he goes for it regardless. Gets great damage on the 2 players, but no frags. Although, yeah, when you look at it, he does do, you know, about 180, 190 damage, but this is going to be rough when not only does Skadoodle die, but Stewie also dies in the process of this too.
Unfortunately, getting the damage isn't enough, and Snacks with a big pick onto automatic. Shroud and Nothing on A. It's that kind of a scenario where as soon as the bomb gets planted on B, they just can look to save. The issue for them, however, is that Bialy, who was about to peek up ramp, does get silenced. This is going to give them more chance of saving these 2 rifles. And Snacks, who is in mid, could very well wrap himself around towards the T-spawn and see if he can get rid of one of these pesky CTs and eliminate a bit of that money going forward into the next rounds. I mean, surely Cloud9 don't try and clutch this. I'd be very surprised if they did. I mean, their funds are pretty much dead. These 2 rifles would be massive.
Even in mid, they're immediately going to face aggression from the VP side, as Snacks is just watching for pressure out window and connector, and obviously over here from the T-spawn route too. So they do kind of creep up towards the edge of those halls, but it doesn't seem like they're going to move any further. So leading into the save now, Cloud9 is just going to try to preserve, and they'll let VP get the trade, reset the losing bonus for Cloud9 more importantly, and push VP up to 5 rounds.
Which is certainly a solid way to kick things off on the T side. 10 and 3 is Pasha. Snacks just below him, outbranding on their team. So there is a 5-2 scoreline as a result of the saves. There could be a decision where Shroud drops alongside Nothing, and that is going to be coming to pass. So they will have 4 assault rifles. This will leave Skadoodle in a bit of a rough buy. An UMP for himself. And the 1 kit on top of it. So at least it is a serious amount of firepower to contend this round. Neo's going to quick peek mids. No reason for anyone for Cloud9 to even attempt this. They don't have an AWP or a scout. It would end in almost a guaranteed death. So they're going to give up mid control. That allows the poles to just walk straight through. And they are going to try and use this through connector. But Shui gets the upper hand. Gets the kill. 39 health remaining. He's going to go back in for seconds.
Snack's gonna try to pop flash into it here, moving in, but he didn't actually spot down below here. Stewie, he's hiding in the smoke, but he didn't realize that Snacks had gone through, or at the very least couldn't find him. So Snacks gets the correction, trades it down into a 4v4 now, and they are trying to push back in, but there's more pressure about to work its way in from both sides of this one. VP, but Cloud9 are also rotating back in, and they've just picked up 2 kills. Snacks, he's running wild, but unfortunately he just lost his entire team. Neo, though, with the flick shot on the Shroud, destroying him. Unfortunately, he's down to 1 HP. In a 1v2. He has a free path over to the B bomb site, actually, so I think he's going to take that route and try to sneak over here. Cloud9 hasn't realized it yet, so he'll be able to still guarantee a plant at the very least, but the clutch is going to be rough.
It will, but just getting that bomb plant is going to allow them to tick over that a little bit more. They can buy into the next round, even if Neo is unsuccessful in his clutch attempts. And if you get one of these kills, again, it really does hurt Cloud9's rebuy in the next round. He's going to be playing this one aggressively. You're going to be facing, and that's the first frag. Unbeknownst to him, Skadoodle's also there on 15 health. Is Neo going to do it again? He's clutched so many from this kind of a situation and lands a headshot. Neo putting Cloud9 in their place, 6-2. And their economy's wrecked on top of everything else. What a play that is from Neo.
That's 2 massive 1v2s we've already seen from VoDs over the course of these 8 rounds that have been played out. The first one from Pasha, and it's all knowledge plays from him as he just backs out, gets the plant in a perfect position, and brings it down to the timer, and Molly's on top of it. And this time, it's raw skill coming out from Neo. Big clutch from him in the 1v2, and now VoDs are certainly controlling the situation. Cloud9 are broken, just a P250 buy. Really nothing else behind that, as already Snacks is connecting the shots here, knocking out nothing into the window room.
Well, the P250's going to be enough to deal with VP. It's not looking good. Close range is Shroud and automatic. Trying to use the off angles where you're not typically going to check first. Bialy, in the meanwhile, dispatches of Stewie, who's on the site. And Skadoodle witnesses his teammate die in front of his eyes. He has got the close angle, but it's looking the wrong way. And Pasha will make him pay. Well, it looks like VP will be taking that 7-2 lead and extending from here on out. Seems they're angry, have a point to prove. Those first 2 maps are not indicative of their skill level right now. And meanwhile, on the other stream, by the way, SK, who are also in a very similar position to VP, are winning 9-2 against Heroic. So both of these fallen juggernauts, as it would seem, are picking up some pace finally. Better late than never.
It's gonna make the match where they have to play against each other even more interesting if they both end up winning here. Obviously still trying to pertain, or sustain, I should say, their records, which means they might just have to fight each other for possible elimination depending on the way the rest of the groups do pan out. But this one will be over this round. This is VoDs are going to have no problem at all pushing themselves up to 7. And for Shroud, there's not a whole lot that he can do. I imagine he's going to peek out here in a moment to try and see if he can find 1 or 2 of the players from VP looking in the wrong direction. He spotted Neo creeping up towards top mid, but they're both looking towards him in this peak, so he's going to go down pretty quickly there. Neo finding the final kill on the round, and VP indeed pushing up to 7-2, as I believe a tactical pause comes in from C9.
Yeah, it sure will be. It's hard to see where they've gone wrong, really. It just came down to a lot of trades going the way of VP. There hasn't been anything hugely inspirational in terms of strats, in terms of tactics. They've given up mid a lot. Maybe that's something they can look to try and get rid of in this round. Skadoodle hasn't really had any run of the litter when it comes to mid with his AWP. VP have consistently gone there. So maybe that's something to keep in the back of their minds. But Skadoodle could go for an AWP. It would be glass cannon. It wouldn't be fantastic. Let's see if he pulls the trigger. Or if he's going to go back to an M4 instead. He's taking a while to do this. Okay, he's going to go with the AWP. What's his spawn like? That's the second thing. It's not perfect for window, but he could get out there.
So it looks like he's going to be pushing towards it here in a second. Yeah, he'll be going into it here to try to get the position as quickly as possible. But VP, well, he does beat Pasha to the punch in terms of a peak here. But it actually is going to look like no one else from VP will even go for this one. Neo, though, very forward with his push, already inside of the apartments here and throwing out a little bit of utility to try to get the player that would normally jump into that corner on the right side out from the apartments there to move, but won't work out. Just all the guesses here to try and counter out early aggression from either side. Both have failed, so we are going to move into a bit of a stalemate here.
Yeah, this position that has been seen by nothing, though, gives them so much information that they can allow the rest of the team to stack. The thing is, they've called this incorrectly. It appears from having a player there, they assumed it would be a B hit through B apps, whereas in actual fact, they've just walked onto A and got the plant down. This call is going to cost Cloud9 dearly, as they finally get another buy up. Now it's going to come down to nothing, Shroud and Skadoodle. One of which doesn't even have Kevlar and only a flash and a smoke. No kit. But they look like they're going to go for this, realizing they've got to that point almost of no return, but they decide against it. I thought originally they were going to go for it. Nope, they just back away. 8-2 behind.
VoDs have this crazy setup too to hold on to this, and you look at it, like all 3 players are stacked just outside of Palace, so if anyone came from jungle or connector, or even going up on top of the steps, they would have just gotten demolished by up to 3 players from VP, so they were going to be ready for that. If they would have had any chance for a retake, it would have had to be trying to sneak back in through CT, and they only really had 1 guy in that position. So beautifully played again from VP, and at the moment, they're kind of just outskilling C9 here when it comes to the strats, and they don't seem to have anything to respond to it currently. They buy into this next one, though. It's going to be a bit dodgy in some circumstances, but still getting them through it. They've got, for the most part, full rifles and decent utility, too.
And there's the concern right now for Cloud9, that they tried to play aggressively, they tried to get nothing up in mid, they tried to get that mid control, and it still didn't work out for them, as it was just a raw A hit, and no one was home. And now Skadoodle, who has the op still, he's going to try and utilize it off the CT boxes. Bomb is dropped out in ramp, and there are 3 players that could be meeting Skadoodle momentarily. In the meanwhile, mid again has 2 poles taking in position. Nothing goes down. This time not quite as forward as the last time he was in mid. Slap bang in the middle of it. Stacks misses the shot onto Skadoodle. How much will that cost VP? If anything, Skadoodle has to get the hell out there. He knows there's going to be grenades firing his way. Shroud's getting tagged up as well, meanwhile, or at least forced back into position as Skadoodle dies. Now, VP, for as poorly as they've started this event, you wouldn't think it to watch this map. They have been dominant.
Automatically, I was going to look to try and do a little bit of damage towards the end of the round. This allows for Shroud to push back in, and to a certain degree, it's actually saved Shroud's life, because he was about to get pushed by 2 of his T's over here, lurking over towards CT spawn. Shroud even jumping in, grabs another kill on Neo. So they're doing some damage here, but it's still not going to lead to a round victory itself. All of this does is buy them a ticket to get out of the site and save these guns, as VP are going to push up to 9-2 in a second here.
They sure will. An Automatic, who was quite the stallion on maps like Cobblestone, is starting to struggle a little bit more. I mean, he is top of the scoreboard, but only with 8. More deaths than kills. With the 2 save weapons again they can buy. But at this point though, Blue, it's not really about the economy, it's not really about what buys they can get, it's all about how many rounds they can pick up. 2 rounds so far on CT side of Mirage is simply not good enough.
That's awful.
And best case scenario is 6, and it's so unlikely that's going to happen.
Yeah, with how well VP have been playing, especially in these clutch scenarios. A lot of the ones that Cloud9 have won, as we can see, have been still relatively close. 3 alive and 2 alive, as they did upset on the second round there. Stewie with a good start, though. Finding the pick out through the connector here, moving in. He takes down Pasha. That's all the mid pressure they did have. But Skadoodle, he's also going to be chiming in. This secondary out purchase seems to have already done wonders for them, as they've got an early 5v3 advantage. VP, well, they're going to try to force the hand of C9 and get them into the open, but right now it's not really working. They're out. They have the initial sort of staging ground to opened up here to push into the bomb site, but actually taking it is going to be the rough part, as Cloud9 are kind of letting them in, but they're going to crush them really quickly, as pretty much everyone is already here for the retake.
This is much better. The round hasn't came to pass just yet, though. VP still have Neo in play, Taz and Snacks, and a bomb to plant, which has been planted. Stewie's in connector. Taz is waiting outside, and they've already picked up one. This could put Nothing's attention away from Taz and allow the frag. He's going to go for the smoke, but that's not going to be enough to deal with Taz and the flash either. Nothing is able to escape a little while longer. It's all on Taz, who's going to use that smoke to his advantage, but there's too many players and he has to contend with, and it will be the defuse for Cloud9. That's going to need to be the first of many if they want to salvage this half.
And so, they pieced that one together, but same as we had just 5 rounds back, there is the risk of them being reset here too if they aren't careful. As again, it's a little bit cleaner, 3 alive, but those rebuys are really crucial. It's brought Nothing down to $100, $12.50 on automatic, and all the repurchases for utility and whatnot have not really been too favorable for those that did manage to stay alive here too. So they're not really in a great spot if they end up losing here and don't manage to save like 3 to 4 guns in the process. VP, a bit of a change up in their own regard here. There is still mid pressure, but everyone else has pretty much just worked their way into the B halls. Usually they always had a consistent 1 or 2 guys back over in either inside of the palace or up towards the T ramp, but it's not the case this time around. Everybody has pushed with a priority leading up to the apartments this time.
Like the VP haven't been predictable either. They've constantly mixed it up. They've constantly been trying to hit different areas of the map, take control of mid, go through underpass, try and get through connector. This time it's going to be the fast B play. The flashes, though, that have counted them are on point, and Shroud is going to rip through with 2 players in quick succession from the little jump spot. Automatic is now going to turn his attention towards Bialy before taking out Neo 2. Pasha, 1-on-3 clutch in underpass. The bomb is in a horrible position for him to pick up, and he's got 15 seconds to make a miracle happen with no nades on top of it. Can the bicep flex again?
He doesn't really have a whole load of time here, too. 40 seconds to try to make it happen. But everyone from Cloud9 has rotated over here. Just having nothing. Watch out for mid presence. They actually aren't really paying too much attention to the windows here in Palace. So Pasha's given free rein leading up to that doorway. But when he gets there, that is where Skadoodle is going to be waiting. So they clean that up pretty quickly. They still preserve the double op here, more importantly, too, as their money doesn't really support their ability to rebuy that should they lose one of them. So it's important that they do save both of those to toss that back over to Stewie.
Yeah, double up so far seems to be pretty important. Plus VP are respecting that prowess. Stewie's going to quick peek out of mid. Once again, it's Pasha that is flirting with danger, but doesn't come out into the open. You don't have a good enough spawn to just all-out rush it. They haven't smoked into mid either to try and block it off on the short side. Maybe faking. Yeah, it is looking like a fake from Neo. They went for a very similar couple of flashes in the previous round. He's throwing them over while the bomb's actually in ramp. The idea is to try and draw a couple of these CTs out and then allow VP to execute onto the site. But Stewie, having spotted Pasha's shoulder peeking around the corner, is information. And that is definitely going to put a little bit of concerns as to whether it's a B play or not. I think, though, will take down Neo before Stewie gets picked off himself. And here comes Taz and the rest of VP executing onto A.
Nothing's the only one here to defend it. Cloud9 are rotating, but most of them through mid, so these are the same angles that Nothing is going to be working with right now. He's trying to spray across, but a flawless flashbang just hit him right in the face, so he can't see anything at all currently. There's another one, too. No luck at all for Nothing here, as he's not going to be able to do anything to stop this push onto the site. A third flashbang right into his face. And now Taz is pushing up here against the smoke. He is going to get aggressive, and he catches Nothing at just the right time. Taz with the pickup. Automatic will be there for a trade again, though. Shroud and Automatic, while they do have themselves grouped up together to try and retake this, they don't have a lot of angles to work with. He knows the op shot's coming up there from Palace, but again is shot out by Snacks at the end of the day. Automatic there for the trade yet again, but he does have to peel away from this one since he knows he's not really going to have a chance to clutch out the 1v2. Just picks up the op, he'll back away, and it's going to let VP get up to double digits.
Yeah, Automatic. If he saves this weapon, it's going to allow him to drop one to Stewie. And then Shroud will likely be into a UMP or a pistol. He only has minimal money, 2,600 to be precise. So I'll be curious to see how Cloud9 rack their brains together and try and get a buy in effect. So yeah, UMP has been dropped. That's going to be in the hands of Shroud. The rest of the team have weapons. It does sacrifice a lot of nades, but again, it's that double op setup that's been getting them rounds. And early on, Pasha gets legged, but Snacks will return fire, and one of those AWPs has been silenced.
Already VP are going to be trying to push their way in through the connector here, too. It's Neo that leads the charge here. Automatic maybe challenging it as smokes do cover off the cross on steps. However, does Automatic even realize that Neo's going to be pushing in? He was able to find that kill into Pasha when he dropped back down through ladder room, but Neo catches the trade, and now he sees the leg of Skadoodle early on, so he's also going to be able to pick up that kill. That's a second for him. Bialy finding the kill that is against Shroud, who had pushed very aggressively into the apartments there, and now all that's left alive is Nothing in a 1v4. Same situation that we had just a couple of rounds ago here. There's nothing that he can do, no pun intended, so he's just going to have to back up and really save, and he may not even be able to do that, as Neo's going to peek him here in a second. He's ready for that one, though, so he picks up that kill at least. But still, is he actually going to go for this? It looks like he is. He's going to try to push back in. They see Snacks around the corner. He's locked into it now as the Molotov's been deployed. But yeah, he's not getting very far at all. It's going to be Bialy pushing back in. Oh yeah, it was 15th round, so that's my bad. But yeah, Virtus Pro close it out, and it's going to be 11-4 at the end of the day in their favor.
Yeah, that is a landslide victory to VP on a T-half of Mirage. It's pretty much pistol round or bust for Cloud9. It's hard to see them get back into this if they do lose the second pistol. VP apparently waking up. Finally, they are out of their slumber and they are putting on their big boy pants and going to work. Meanwhile, on the other stream, by the way, SK are 15-3 in the lead. So both these teams that have had a rough start, 0-2, are looking very likely to get this round on the board at the very least.
So we had these really crazy starts from like Cloud9 and even Heroic getting the one match that they won, right? And along with Navi with their 2-0 start. I think it was Striker from HLTV that tweeted that I think there is a possibility that all 5 teams, if like the status quo switches and we start seeing VP and SK get into gear for the rest of their matches, that we could end up with like a 2-3 or a 3-2 5-way tie between all of the teams in the group, which would just make everything absolutely insane to figure out which of the teams will actually go through. So that is still a very large possibility if we start to see VP and SK turn their performances around like we're seeing in the 2 respective matches on either stream right now.
So much utility as well for Cloud9 in this round. In the here and now, 2 smokes and 4 flashes. Shroud's gone down to Snacks though, who went aggressively up into underpass. He's picked up 2, won't be getting a 3rd, but his damage has been done. He can now rest easy knowing that he's given his team a very real opportunity to take this round and escalate themselves towards that finish line. Pasha is in apps to the right-hand side. He's going to be sitting there laid in wait with the USP. Doesn't seem like the 2 terrorists that were up there, which is Stewie and Automatic, are interested just yet, though.
Stewie's going to try to waltz right in here. Does he realize Pasha's waiting around the corner? Absolutely not. Goodbye, Stewie. It's up to nothing at Automatic. Well, scratch that. It's up to Automatic now. He's the one with the bomb left, but a 1v4. Both of his teammates, when they tried to push here previously, just got decked, and it's going to remain the same. Taz with the 2 clean kills puts VP on the board to keep control of things into the second half. They are going to claim the pistol, and that is going to be both pistols as well that VP will have had control of. They did get upsetted on the force-up from the last one, however, so keep that in mind. Cloud9 doesn't look like they're deciding to go too heavily into this one, but at the last moment, the rest of those buys do roll in. It's still rather light, though. Again, it's just the upgraded pistols, no armor or any utility behind it. Nothing seems to have not purchased anything at all.
Yeah, rather to bide their time and wait for a later round. Automatic has picked up the first one, though, with a deagle. Taz is the recipient of the brutality. Automatic down to 35, Stu on 16, and Skanoodle is being tagged up as I speak. Stu does get finished off. In the meanwhile, they're looking for a potential boost here, but now Neo shown his very scary self. They may think twice about that. Pasha in with a double spray down with the M4. That's very much going to be a 13-4, barring some miracle play from Automatic Steagle.
Yeah, there's no room for Automatic, unfortunately, to really find much here. So he'll just get pushed by Snacks on the highway, and that will allow for VP to push up here pretty quickly to 13. One more round as well, as Cloud9 really still don't have enough cash, but down 4 and 13. It certainly wouldn't be too surprising if they tried to go for it here. Don't think it's going to be happening, though. More than likely just going to be seeing a little bit more of an investment to the pistols and whatnot, and then they'll focus on the next round for an investment.
Yeah, this does put them, though, at a potential 10-round deficit to try and come back from. And VP aren't known for losing those kind of leads. I mean, Astralis have maybe taken them a peg or 2 down in that kind of a scenario before, but Cloud9 certainly aren't Astralis, and not the way they've been playing so far here on Mirage. Neo gets the long-range tap onto Automatic. No head armor, no Kevlar at all to speak of. And he's certainly going to make that a lot easier. And meanwhile, Pasha goes to work in B apps. There was a flashbang that completely wrecked the 2 aggressing terrorists. But now the AK buy is coming to fruition, and it is, as I mentioned, a 10-round deficit. Skiddle has the option of an AWP. And it looks like he will be taking it. Yes, indeed.
And this is really Cloud9's only chance, unfortunately. Coming up after this one, again, their force still isn't really going to be that great, as this is a complete buyout for almost every single player on C9. Whereas when we look at VP, you know, their money is stacked up, and Cloud9 basically has to go 10 rounds straight to try and tie this back up if they want to have any chance at all of winning this map in regulation, even through OT. If VP claims this one, you know, asking for 11 rounds flawlessly is going to be too tall of a task, I believe, for C9. However, they still have a chance to fight back here and now. So let's focus on this, as they do line up for a bit of an A crunch. They got that mid control for free, but they still have to worry about areas like Cat over here, where Neo sits in waiting, if they do try to go through that connector. So instead, they're going to boost Stewie up, allow him to go in for window control. He's being cautious about that too, because he's going to be a little bit noisy as he moves in towards it. So just making sure that Neo does not go for the push. In the meantime, they did execute over towards Palace there. Bialy catches that first kill. Stewie's counted out in his own boost. And Neo, he also catches the kill in mid. The bomb's down on the ground. All that's left here now is Shroud and Molt. No, they're both gone too. VP cleaned that up so quickly, and they're up to map point.
Yeah, Cloud9 are looking at Tech 9 armors here. Maybe Skidoo will go for UMP. He's got enough funds to go for one. And I can have a couple of nades. But that's pretty much all she wrote. You have to feel him, Mirage. Virtus Pro, this is the kind of team we're expecting to see right out the gates. Expecting to see VP maybe even top the group. Up until we started things off. And I'd like to highlight as well, Pasha is 25-7. Not typically the guy that you expect to be at the top of the scoreboard. I mean, back a while ago, he was generally up there. But in recent times, it's been more like snacks. You know, Taz has had some great performances. Neo, of course, is always under contention to be one of the best players with this crazy game sense and clutching potential as we saw earlier. But Pasha's been having a blinder of a game here.
Pasha may have himself quite a few more kills here, as it looks like Cloud9 are just going to rush their way through the apartments here, and look who's waiting at the edge of it. It is Pasha. There's one. Smoke's covering off a lot more, and he did get dinked in the process, so he's actually rather low. That's the only kill he's going to get in this time. But it's still being cleaned up by Taz, and that's it, ladies and gentlemen. 16-4 is going to be the final scoreline. Cloud9 losing all that momentum they gained on their first two victories, and VP finally a victory in their own regard. They win this one in a dominating fashion, and finally, they're on the board in the group. They're going to have a 1-2 record. Cloud9, in the meantime, it goes down to 2-1.
Yep, and on the other stream, SK did finalize against Heroic. They won 16-5. So both games very one-sided. The two teams that were struggling the most have brought it back, which again is going to make this group incredibly interesting. I'm sure Na'Vi watching this, licking their lips like, great, you know, we have a straight shot to the top of the group. All we have to do is continue our winning ways and we'll be golden, as everyone else now in the group has lost at least one game.
And speaking of Na'Vi, well, we're going to be seeing them next year on this stream, guys. The next game coming up here should be Na'Vi versus North, and directly after that, we will be also seeing Na'Vi take on Heroic. So they're going to have a little bit of a Na'Vi versus the Danes spree coming up here for our next couple of games. Stick around for it. It should be coming up pretty soon, guys. So as soon as we have that match ready for you, we're bringing it back. But for now, well, stick around for more here from the IEM Katowice qualifiers.